This incident took place in the early morning while Captain James Caldwell was still savoring his morning coffee. The Halcyon Tide, a massive cargo ship carrying thousands of tons of goods, was halfway through its 40-day journey from Boston to the port of Rotterdam when it happened. Everything seemed calm, just as it had been since they left port. The crew worked through their morning routine like clockwork, but what happened next was proof that even the most skillful crew could tremble when something unexpected happened. They did not know it, but this incoming impact was already unavoidable, and with it, the crew's life would forever change. Before we start, smash the like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any new stories. The first mates gathered in the captain's cabin, reviewing the day's route. There were no expected deviations, just open sea and steady sailing. The captain traced their path on the digital map, nodding in approval. The weather was clear, the waters calm. "Textbook voyage," he muttered, taking another sip of coffee. The cargo ship's route took them past the Arctic and with Greenland in their rear-view mirror ever since last night. It was nothing but an open ocean for 20 more days until Europe came into view. "All right, we know what to do, guys. Straight ahead without any hiccups, and call me if something goes wrong." However, just as Captain Caldwell leaned back in satisfaction, the ship's radar let out a soft beep. A new blip appeared on the radar screen, small but steady. Caldwell frowned and zoomed in on the display. They were far from any major shipping routes, and no vessels were scheduled to cross their path. First Mate Rodriguez leaned in, eyes narrowing. "That's strange," he said. "We're in open waters, far removed from the coast. There shouldn't be anything out here." A faint dot sat against the shimmering ocean, barely visible due to the sheer distance. Rodriguez grabbed a pair of binoculars and focused in. "It's small," he said slowly. "Definitely not another cargo ship. It could be a fishing boat." But Caldwell corrected him. "That's impossible. They can't reach this far from the coast and make it back." Captain Caldwell's brow furrowed as he listened to his first mate. "And it's moving toward us," he said. The captain stepped onto the bridge, joined by several crew members who had gathered out of curiosity. With every minute, the ship became more visible, and the radar beeped faster, indicating that the vessel moved closer to their ship. "Think they're lost?" he asked. "Maybe they need help?" It was a reasonable assumption. Small boats sometimes suffered equipment failure, leaving their crews stranded at sea. Rodriguez turned to the captain. "Should we alter course? Give it space?" Normally, when it came to other cargo ships, they would do this. But when they did, they knew far beforehand that the vessel was coming, giving them ample time to turn and get out of the way. But this time, it was different. Their large ship's body wasn't built for quick maneuvering, and this smaller boat was moving in their direction fast. The last thing they needed was for the ship to hang too much to one side, causing precious cargo to tumble. So Captain Caldwell held off this order. "Let's wait and see what will happen." "Let's see what they do," Captain Caldwell said repeatedly as sweat dripped past his forehead. The calm James Caldwell from moments ago was disappearing just as fast as his coffee turned cold inside his captain's cabin. This was a weird situation, and there was no denying it. But things were about to get a whole lot stranger. The crew murmured among themselves, exchanging uneasy glances as they witnessed their captain's growing concerns. The small boat was close enough now to make out distinct details, from its white captain's wheelhouse to the black border around its base. And yet, the small boat did not alter course. It still moved straight toward them. As the minutes ticked by, the tension on the bridge thickened. The ocean was vast, yet this lone boat made a beeline toward them with unsettling precision. There was no distress call, no attempt to hail them over the radio, just that steady, unrelenting approach. "What are they doing?" crew members yelled out as on deck nerves grew. The crew scrambled to get a better view of the incoming boat. Caldwell and Rodriguez both lifted their binoculars, scanning the vessel with focused intensity. No figures stood at the wheel. No crew bustled about on deck. The boat looked completely abandoned, yet it moved with unsettling purpose, heading straight for them. A hush fell over the deck as his words sank in. The eerie silence stretched on as the small boat continued its relentless approach. Before Caldwell could process his next move, the inevitable happened. With a sickening crunch, the smaller boat rammed into the hull of the Halcyon Tide. The impact sent a jarring vibration through the massive cargo ship, startling the crew as they grabbed onto whatever they could. The ship groaned from the unexpected force. Below, The smaller fishing boat had suffered greatly. Its bow was splintered, and a black rubber bumper dangled loose. No sane captain would steer straight into another vessel, especially one this large. The fishing boat was still afloat, but only barely. Normally, a vessel that collided like that would back off, but this one didn't. It stayed pressed against the hull. Unmoving then, almost deliberately, it revved forward again, bumping into them a second time. The crew watched in disbelief as the small boat repeated the motion nudge. Pause, bump again as if testing them. The dark water churned around it, and tension thickened across the deck. Maybe they lost control, one sailor offered, though no one believed it. A drifting boat didn't ram another ship over and over. If it had been abandoned, where was the crew, and why was the engine still running? Within minutes, both men had life vests on and climbed down the slick ladder toward the eerie vessel. The deck creaked under their weight as Caldwell pushed open the cockpit door. Inside, dim light revealed an empty cabin, no crew, no captain, only the low hum of the engine and the rhythmic bumping against their ship. Then Caldwell noticed something strange, a metal pipe bolted to the floor, locking the wheel in one position. "This was no accident," he muttered. The boat had been engineered to travel straight ahead with no one steering it. They moved below deck. The only place left to check was the engine room. Inside, the steady thump of a coal furnace echoed. The fire was nearly dead, just a few lumps of coal glowing faintly. Rodriguez inspected it. "Coal-fired, old type. It couldn't have traveled more than 50 miles. Caldwell's stomach turned. If the boat had gone only that far, whoever launched it must still be close. Then Rodriguez found a note wedged under the steering wheel. The shaky handwriting read, "I know my boat can only go as far as my engine will take it, but I hope it finds signs of life. If not, my crew and I are done for. Please find us. P.S. Beware the mines." The message froze them both. They couldn't ignore a call like that. Back on the Halcyon Tide, Caldwell spread a chart and drew a 50-mile circle around their location. One island sat within range 40 miles behind them. They turned the ship around. After hours of tense sailing, the island appeared on radar, but so did something else. Hundreds of signals surrounded it. "Mines," Rodriguez whispered. The island was encased in a deadly perimeter. Caldwell ordered the main ship to anchor and took the lifeboat with a small crew. The radar lit up with clusters of mines drifting near them. Every movement was deliberate, every wave a threat. At last, they reached the sandy shore safely. The captain led his men through dense jungle, boots crunching over damp leaves. Rodriguez pointed to a broken branch, signs of life. Moments later, they found a campfire, cold but recent. Then chaos erupted. Figures burst from the trees. Caldwell barely turned before something struck his head, and everything went black. He awoke in a camp surrounded by rough wooden huts and flickering firelight. His crew lay nearby, bound but alive. A group of people stood watching them. One man stepped forward, tall and commanding. "I'm Captain Argyle Johnson," he said. "We were the ones who sent that fishing boat." He gestured to his people. "We've been stranded here for 2 months. He explained what happened, how their convoy of 4 boats had crossed these waters and hit a mine. The first explosion destroyed the lead ship. Panic followed. 2 others tried to escape, but both struck mines too. Only one made it to shore. "With no fuel, no radios, no flares, we were trapped," Argyle said. "This island became our prison." Weeks passed in isolation until they decided to send their last boat unmanned, hoping someone would find it. Rodriguez asked, "You said you thought we were someone else." "Who?" Argyle's expression hardened. "You don't think that Minefield placed itself, do you? We're not alone out here." He motioned for them to follow. Deep in the trees stood a weathered wooden hut, its door unlatched. Inside were stacks of gold bars and sealed jewelry packages, half a ton of treasure. "The traffickers use this island to store contraband," Argyle explained. "It's so remote that no one comes close. Anyone who tries hits a mine. We drifted here by accident, but the smugglers know the safe routes. They come every few weeks." For 2 months, Argyle's crew hid deep in the jungle whenever the traffickers arrived, praying not to be discovered. When they saw movement in the forest, Caldwell's men, they panicked, mistaking them for the enemy. Now, the truth brought relief. Caldwell decided immediately, "We'll worry about justice later. Let's get everyone off this island." Both crews worked tirelessly, packing every lifeboat to the brim. It was cramped, but after half an hour, all 30 stranded fishermen were aboard, the halcyon tide. On deck, the medic checked the survivors dehydrated, exhausted but alive. Together, the crews began the 20-day voyage to Rotterdam. When they docked, emergency responders were waiting. Paramedics rushed the fishermen to hospitals for treatment. Within hours, Caldwell and Rodriguez met with port authorities, reporting everything: the mines, the gold, the traffickers. Interpol was contacted, and an international investigation began. Weeks later, a report arrived. Specialized naval units had raided the island, clearing the minefield and seizing the hidden cash. Several high-profile criminals were arrested, and an entire smuggling network was dismantled. Caldwell shared the news with his crew, pride swelling quietly among them. To the world, they were heroes. To them, they had simply done what was right. The rescued fishermen soon recovered and were cleared to return home. Before leaving, Captain Argall shook Caldwell's hand firmly. "If not for you, we'd never have made it." Caldwell smiled. "You kept your people alive for 2 months. That's real leadership." The two captains exchanged a knowing look, one of shared respect. As the fishermen boarded their flight, they glanced back one last time at the ship that had saved them. The halcyon tide had been their miracle. News of the rescue spread, filling headlines across Europe. Yet for Caldwell's crew, life soon returned to the rhythm of the sea. Their cargo delivered, their ship repaired, they prepared for another journey. Standing at the helm, Caldwell gazed at the endless horizon. The ocean remained vast, unpredictable, and beautiful. Out there, anything could happen, and for Captain Caldwell and his crew, the sea would always be home.